let's get into it a little bit. The antibiotic dilemma. Do you guys love antibiotics? Antibiotics are the leading treatment for UTIs. Antibiotics are the leading treatments for UTIs. You know what that means? That means decade after decade of bugs that are actually becoming immune to the antibiotic. That's how it works. And then that bug spreads to another person, and so that person receives that bug, and then now they have an antibiotic resistant bug. They get sick, and then they go to the doctor gives them an antibiotic again, and now their bug is in them that's already antibiotic resistant is now even becoming more antibiotic resistant, and then it keeps on going on and on and on and on. So that's what's happening. It's not like the old days. And then the antibiotic kills the weakest bacteria, but the strong survive. So let's do this, okay? I was prepared for this one. Here we go, okay? You got a bacterium right here. You got a bacterium right here. Got a bacterium right here and a bacterium right here. And I'll even put another one right here and one more right here. So these are bacteria. Okay, so here we are. Take a look, you guys. These are inside the bladder or the kidney. So let's make a bladder here. Okay, there we are. We got a bladder, right? And in that bladder is a whole bunch of bacteria, and strep bacteria is what it is. Okay, so antibiotics are used. All of a sudden, boom, we take an antibiotic. The antibiotic is coming through right now. Here it goes. There it is. The antibiotic coming through. There we go. Can't really see this good, but there it is. Boom, the antibiotic came through. Then, now, we get some dead bacteria. This one explodes. Boom, the antibiotic killed it. Boom, another one explodes. Boom, another one explodes. Interesting, this one just gets maimed. That bacterium gets maimed. This one just gets weakened. Am I yelling? This one gets weakened, okay? This one doesn't get harmed at all. All right, we got a weakened bacterium. We got a maimed bacterium, damaged, but they survive. They survive, and they provide information now against that antibiotic. They hold the key to survival against the antibiotic that was given to them. Think about that right now, right? And then you got one that survived it completely, that also holds information, but it's completely unharmed. In fact, it seemed to do good with the antibiotic. That one little bug right there drank those antibiotics, consumed them, it didn't hurt them, and now this one bug right here is getting stronger. Nice and strong now. Now it's a nice strong bacterium. You see this? The maimed ones, not as strong, but they provide information and they stay alive, is what they do. They too survive it, and they survive it in the aftermath. They're still hanging around, okay? And then another one too at the same time still survived it, and it's there, right? So now you got 3 bacteriums, but 3 different bacteriums. Same bacteria, but 3 different experiences, 3 different strengths, and 3 different injuries. 1 not injured, 2, 1 maimed, 1 injured. There's a problem with that though, because then as it's producing, more bacteria is being produced, okay, which happens, more and more bacteria is being produced, right? Here's your bacteria right here. And these bacteria are getting stronger and producing. The weak ones, okay, want to be as strong as the strong one. So the weak ones become even stronger than the original strong one that wasn't even affected by the original antibiotic, okay? This is important. The weaker ones gain strength, the ones that were maimed and injured by the antibiotic. Keep that in mind. They were maimed and injured, and they now, okay, they strengthen, they rise above it, they gather information from their injuries, they learn how to not get injured again by the antibiotic. They become stronger than the one that survived completely without injury at all. And that's a problem all on its own, okay? So now you have very strong bacteria. Here's the thing. They get stronger, and then, all right? And then a new infection occurs. They get stronger, they override. The immune system of the person drops. Exactly. The immune system drops. There's another bladder right there. Okay? So, white blood cells, for some reason, aren't as strong in that person. Their own white blood cells aren't doing the jobs they need to do. They get triggered. They get exposures. Something happens there. And then the bacteria rise up and get stronger. And now we have a new infection. They reproduce. I'm going to make a whole bunch of them here. You guys with me? You're following me right now? Okay. And then the new antibiotic comes through. They're sick again. And then a new wave of antibiotic comes through. They're at the doctor's office. They got a new UTI. And then boom. Here comes the antibiotic. It's rushing through. Okay. And what happens is all these new bacteria, right? They don't budge. Everybody's happy. They're stronger. They supersede the antibiotic. And then the doctor gets pissed. The patient gets pissed, stays sick, the doctor's pissed, and then they change up the antibiotic. Get ready for this. The new antibiotic gets then prescribed. So here comes the new antibiotic coming through. And this is what sucks right here. Really sucks. It comes through, and then it maims and injures a whole bunch of them. That's right. This one gets maimed. This one gets injured. This one gets maimed. This one gets injured. This one gets almost killed completely. This one just gets slightly injured. This one never gets touched. Okay? That's fine. Here's the problem. Now we got a whole bunch of brand new streps, and those brand new strep bacteriums have information and survived a new antibiotic. That is not good. They survived a new antibiotic. They're still alive. Now they have information from the original antibiotic, how to survive, survival instincts in the bacteria, and now they got new information from the new antibiotic, survival mechanisms kick in that bacteria. The bacteria does not want to lose, so it's going to now supersede. And then boom, the next phase happens. Okay? You got a patient that's getting a little better again. The patient's getting a little bit better. I really can't stand this whiteboard. Yep. All right, new bacteria. It's reproducing. Here we go. Once again, immune system drops in the patient. The patient was getting better. A month later, 2 months later, at some point, okay, there's the bladder again. I'm just doing a bladder. You can do kidneys, you can do, urethras, whatever. So, all right. Playing around with markers here. So we got a new bacteria. This bacteria has information from 2 antibiotics. It has survived 2 antibiotics. Yes, it has indeed. and it has survived the person's immune system. That's the whole point. It survived their immune system, and it survived the antibiotic involved in their immune system. Okay? Both with the immune system working on that, working with that antibiotic, and both with that antibiotic. Okay, so get ready for this. Person gets sick again. They got another UTI. It's pretty darn serious. They're in pain. They got a fever. They don't know if they got kidney infections, bladder infections. And here we go. There might be some blood in the urine, right? Goes to the doctor. Doctor prescribes an antibiotic, the same one that they used last time. So you fill your prescription, now you're taking it. Antibiotic runs through the body, it's triggering the immune system, immune cells, you're trying to work with it. It's trying to work with everything, it's going through. Okay? And this time now with this new antibiotic, it's only killing off this one, only killing off that one, only killing off that one, that one, that one, that one. But this one right here is just injured. That one's injured. That one's injured. That one's injured, injured, maimed. And we got the whole thing over again. All the maimed and injured ones say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to let this antibiotic, this new antibiotic, rule the roost and clean us out. We have to rise above this and we have to get stronger. And then what happens is the new reproduction of that bacterium is even stronger, so that the next phase of the antibiotic on the 4th round, which happens all the time, and sometimes it's a 6th round and sometimes it's a 7th, another one's prescribed. Here we go. And now none of the bacteria are budging at all. Got a fever. There's blood in the urine. The kidneys are inflamed. They have to give steroids out now. So now it's steroids plus the new antibiotic. So here we go. Doctor's got to play the game again. And here it comes. All right? Now it's time to use... Now it's time to use the new antibiotic. All right, so we got this bacteria, that bacteria, that bacteria, that one right there, that one right there. There we go. Here's all the bacteria. Yep. We got another bladder. We'll just do bladder. Here we go. There's the bladder. Now the doctor has to bring in the super antibiotic, one with a lot of side effects, one that causes a lot of problems, one that also says a lot of terrible things on the side effect package, the little rollout. And here we go. Here it comes. Boom, 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 boom. I'm taking my antibiotic. Right? The super antibiotic. The super one. A change up. Okay? Injures this guy. Kills off this guy. Maims this guy. Injures this guy. Kills off this guy. Doesn't even touch that guy, and that guy. Now you got 3 guys here not even being touched by the super antibiotic, but you still got injured but not dead bacteria. Injured but not dead bacteria. You got some dead bacteria, but too many injured, and too many maimed, but still survived. And others that didn't even get affected. And then we got a big problem. So now they reproduce again. After the super antibiotic went through, they reproduce. This time, we're in trouble now. Big trouble. Here we are. Because they used the super antibiotic again. And then they have that running through. And now, these bacteria, they have messaging, they code it, they have information. They're super powered. They do not give up at this point. They have information of 4 to 5 different antibiotics. And they don't want to budge anymore. They put their foot down, they're done. That means they don't budge. So then the doctor has to run another antibiotic brings that one through, and now the patient is just chronically sick, chronically suffering, and chronically sick. A superbug has been born. Strep is not and never was a superbug in the past. So strep was never a superbug. It's not designed to be a superbug originally. It was never meant to be one. We are forcing it to become a superbug. Okay? It's much more forgiving, strep, than anything else was. Okay? In its original state, going back many years ago, it was much more forgiving. It's a forgiving bacterium. It's not as unforgiving as MRSA. It's not as unforgiving as MRSA. So that is something to understand. C. diff and MRSA can be even much more brutal of a superbug. Strep, still, even with its worst superbug mentality, whatever, its worst superbug creation, it doesn't hold the power as like MRSA and what MRSA can turn into. Some kind of flesh-eating bacterium that just becomes a super bug. So I want that clear so people know. So if they got strep and they're living with strep, they're living with all these symptoms, you can turn it in. It can turn naturally into a superbug over time because it's force-fed the antibiotics. It's force-fed in the way I was saying, all those things, but it won't get to like a MRSA level at MRSA's worst. So the different varieties of MRSA, there's all these different varieties of MRSA. Did you know there's thousands of varieties of MRSA? And some of the top tier varieties of MRSA that are just like god awful, and they kill people is what they do. And they give them sepsis and then they die. They're like the top tier of the worst. Strep's not there. So I wanted that to be clear. But strep is no longer one strain. I want to go back to that a little bit. It's no longer one strain. There are so many varieties of strep at this point. Over the decades, strep being a victim of antibiotics, it found a way to survive, to adapt. Adaptation didn't just mean getting stronger. It meant mutating and spawning different strains and varieties, and that's what strep does. It's the ultimate like spawner of new varieties of bacteria. All strep, all the same family, but it's the ultimate.